Welcome, everybody, The Talladega Superspeedway, the next race in the round of 12, runs through Alabama. And it's going to be a very interesting race indeed. 22 cars set to do battle, some to play spoiler, and for several, a chance to extend or potentially make dreams come true in their championship ambitions. Thank you for tuning in to ABN Esports 1 for coverage of the ARCS A2 Cup Series season. I'm Carmen, Sienna, alongside me as always, Kevin Young, to present tonight's action. Kevin, we saw the Cup race earlier for the NASCAR Cup Series. What are we expecting tonight for the A2 Cup Series?
If it's anything that go off of those actual racing, now obviously this may be a slightly different model in comparison to what we've seen then. It's going to be kind of a two groove racetrack here where that third line, it's going to be a bit tricky to get that third line going as well as you think you could. It can still be done when push comes to shove, but we're going to see a situation where basically kind of like every plate race, every super speedway race we watch, and you watch real life and here as well, you want to be in that front half with intent to go here to try to make a move if you want to win this race. But other than that, some are going to try to ride, some are going to try to get stage points by riding, others are here for the joy of it to get the win, and we'll see how it all plays out, but it's going to be a very exciting race here tonight.
It absolutely will be a fantastic race this evening. 2.66 miles, the largest speedway on the calendar, both in real life and in the ARCS A2 Cup Series season. 78 degrees, the air temp, track temp, 97 degrees, hotter than it was on Friday when we had the ARCS Ignition Series. 2-mile-an-hour winds, makes it pretty easy, makes it pretty level for everyone in qualifying, and very low humidity makes it a very easy track to try to manage those temperatures as well. Bump drafting will be a significant factor tonight to make those runs you mentioned, and that low humidity and that lower temperature will help out with that by every mean. Qualifying is underway, so we'll go ahead and jump into it here.
Yep, most drivers, actually, I was going to say most drivers have put down at times, which they have for the most part. I think only a few drivers.
4 drivers have not.
Yep, I was going to say Michael Joy is currently on a run right now, I believe.
Michael Joy has already set a lap time. You're looking at Withers, who has not set a lap time, Elvis George, Edward Marshall, and right now we're looking at Blake Henderson as he goes to the outside lane. Breaking down a little bit as far as what you're going to expect here in qualifying from what we're seeing here from the 33 car of Henderson tonight. Outside lane on this warm-up lap. However, the first lap's going to be the lap that matters. That's where you're going to see all the pole times came on the first laps. Mike LaJoy just proved me wrong there. Went top of the board with a 53.27. But Proudfoot's lap was his first lap. Reynolds was his first lap. Fetter Place was his first lap. So we'll see what Henderson elects to do here.
We know Blake Henderson's very strong at plate racing. We saw him win the opening race for the Admin Box Cup Series. He won that. Obviously, he's a bit of different machinery, but we've seen him be strong at HDL equipment, running in the Cup Series there, running here. He was brought in as a part-time driver. We knew the 2 dates he had circled. One was the first plate race in the cutoff race at Daytona, and we knew we'd see him back in this 33 again to try to go for a win here in Talladega, as Edward Marshall for Line Power just goes to the top of the board. So Blake Henderson, see what he can do. He's got a laps here to try. Now, some like to go high. We've seen this every plate race. We've seen this every super speed race. Some like to go high to the wall and then go low for the second run. Others like to go out, and it always seems to be a bit of a mixed bag. We never can truly pinpoint a factor on this because it seems like every time we say, oh, the high line's the way to go, the car goes pole position by running the low on the first lap. With most of the drivers, like you were hinting at, Carmen, using their first lap as the lap to kind of put themselves in that top of the board. We'll see how that's indicative as Blake Henderson finishes lap number 1 there. Now he's going for his money lap.
I mentioned 21 cars set to do battle tonight. Interestingly, this is the round of 12. There are not 12 playoff drivers in this race. There are 8.
Yeah.
And those 8 now have a pretty easy path to get into the next round, with 4 playoff drivers missing today. That's a huge ordeal.
Yeah, that's not good. Not good at all in this situation, especially for one of the 4 that missed. It makes it very easy if you're currently on the outside looking in to get points and obviously gain, because obviously a drop round, some still have drop rounds still available. They can use it. But for some of those drivers that did miss, they got to hope they're good at road course ringing, if they're good at the road courses. But if they're not, they've put themselves in a very bad hole where this race is kind of the great equalizer, if you will, of the round, as Blake Henderson goes P14. This is the round where if you had a bad first round, you can come out here, get some good points, and try to set yourself up for the Roval. So this is the Great Equalizer, the Great Destroyer, and for those 4, they really, whatever reason why they missed, but that was not going to be good for their playoff chances, and they're going to put themselves in a big hole next week.
Yeah, with the Roval next week, it puts it in a pretty big perspective. Josh Gaiman won last week's race. He is present tonight, so he's one of the 8 that are here. Reynolds, Fetterplace, Gaiman, Wanzing, Feemster, Oberstadt, Kruger, and Wright are the 8 that are here. You look down the list here a little bit, though. Tom Sears won this race last year, not here for this race tonight. Neither is Ryan Pinnell, who was already on the fringe, needed to have something happen tonight to make that happen. Bryn Roberts, another driver that is not present tonight as well. And I believe we're missing one more.
I'm looking to see who we're figuring out myself right now.
Yeah.
David Wright's here. Is Michelle
here? Michelle is not here, and he is not locked in. Yeah, Michelle's the one.
So it's Michelle, Pinnell, Roberts, and Sears. Those are the 4 that were not here tonight. And for those drivers, the only one that was on the outside of the 12 was Pinnell.
Yeah. As you can see the points on your screen right now, Michelle top of the board with 3,056 points from last week's race. However, he's going to drop a lot. How much depends on how successful the likes of Wanzing, Reynolds, and Fetterplace are. Michelle shouldn't be in danger. He's a good road course driver, and it pushes it into the Roval next week for him, where he should have a pretty solid result. However, Ryan Pinnell, his championship run effectively comes to an end here.
Yeah.
Likewise, you got Kevin Feemster, who is present, and with David Wright and Emma Kruger. Bryn Roberts will drop out. He is already level on the cut line with Kruger. Roberts has a race win. Kruger does not. So he had the tiebreaker going into the night. That will not be the case. Kruger just showing up guarantees points there. Tom Sears will drop out because he was only 5 points ahead of that drop line.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a huge shift in this race in terms of who's going to make it into the round of 8 with the Roval next week. It puts a lot of pressure on a lot of non-road course adept drivers to try to make something happen at the Charlotte Roval in 7 days' time.
And it's worth noting. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, you had a point there.
No, you go ahead, because your point's I think, more relevant there.
I was going to say, if looking at the drivers in question that we saw the 4 that missed right now, we look at the field like we know Pinnell, not the greatest at road courses, so he'd be in a must-win situation, even if in that regard. But Michelle, quite good at road courses. Tom Sears, sneakily good at road courses. We saw at Chicago Street Course. We usually see him at the road courses usually get a top 5. He's able to survive the mayhem and get that car in a good spot. But he's going to have to really make up points here. And with tonight being, again, stage points are quite a luxury, if you will. It can be quite a luxury at a plate race. If you're a driver right now like a David Wright, he'll tell you firsthand, not good at road courses. Really a kryptonite of him. Kevin Feemster, he's all right at road courses, but had some bad luck. How aggressive are you going to be to get those stage points if you can? Because you don't want to end up wrecking the car and throw away a possibility to make even a bigger gap. So it's going to be interesting to see how some of these drivers play it out with 4 drivers currently outside, not here tonight, and could be outside looking at the end of these things and have a certain gap to judge. So we'll see how aggressive these drivers are getting stage points to try to maybe extend that gap.
It easily could become must-win for those drivers, especially at the edge of the cut line with Roberts not here and Tom Sears not here. They're already close, if not on that cut line already. These drivers will open 40 points easily. That is a must-win territory position, even if they don't win the race. That's still, if they score, say someone finishes 7th, but say they get like 7 stage points total. That's more than a race win away. That's 41 points.
Yeah, that's 41 big crucial points, and that makes it a must-win. And the thing is, it's not a cakewalk. Even Michelle, we know he's good at road courses. He was top 2 for most of these races. We've seen him be a threat. Tommy Reynolds, great at road courses. Emma Kruger, great at road courses. With the present force of Ada Norman no longer in the series, that opens the door for drivers that we know are quite strong, but just couldn't get the job done because of the big force of Ada Norman. It's going to be a situation where it's not a home run ball. Even Josh Gaiman is also great road course as well. It's not counting him out as well. So this is, again, not panic button for Michelle, Sears, Roberts, or
I think it's panic button for Sears.
Pinnell. Yeah.
I think it's panic button for Sears because the cut line, the people he's worrying about right now, David Wright, Emma Kruger, who are better than him, statistically speaking, on these road courses. That's panic by the situation because, like, he's got a 5-point buffer to Kruger. He's got a 7-point buffer to David Wright.
Yeah, and that's not good. The only positive, I guess you could say at the very least, we know he probably is better than points at Wright. But again, if the gap gets big, let's say David Wright, he won the last plate race we went at Daytona. He survived the chaos and win. Let's say he goes out there and wins. That changes where the line is now too, and who the last driver above the line is as well. So if a driver like a Feemster or Wright, who are currently below, Emma Kruger, for instance, wins, that changes where the line is now, and that makes the gap that could be a little bit more manageable to be even harder, as we see a big lick there just at the end of practice. But it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out, and at the end of this race, you'll know whether it's basically you're going to have to go for the Hail Mary win, or maybe if you're good enough to road courses, you can maybe point your way in if another driver has horrible luck.
We're going to find out. It's going to be do or die these next 2 weeks, especially for the drivers missing tonight's race. We'll go through it. Going into the starting grid, Edward Marshall on pole position, Mike LaJoy in second. 2 non-playoff drivers will lead us to green here tonight. Brandon Proudfoot and Tommy Reynolds start on row 2 ahead of Brandon Fetterplace and Josh Gaiman. Josh Gaiman, his race win at Darlington last week, locks him in, makes these next 2 weeks very easy and breezy for the 61 crew. Not so easy and breezy Seth Wansing, who traditionally has very poor luck at these Superspeedway races. He starts in row 4 alongside teammate Donald Ray. Kevin Feemster, we talked about him. He is in a do-or-die situation. He needs to capitalize on the situation tonight to make it easy next week. He starts in row 5 alongside the returning Jeremy Breo. Now out of the playoffs and out of contention. Breo is sitting in the top 10. We've seen him on Monday nights, more recently for Carolina Beagle Racing. Back for his own team here tonight in that 74 crew. Here to support his team however they can. Reynolds ahead of him in that second row. In row 6, another teammate for Beatron, Steven Oberstadt, in 12th. To his inside will be Elvis George, looking for some positive momentum being outside the playoffs there in that 2-car presidential racing. Looking down the rest of this 21-car field, John Smeal and Blake Henderson, part-time drivers for Beachrun and Presidential Racing respectively. They're in row 7. Row 8, James Kerr and Emma Kruger. Kruger, again, has to maximize, did not have a good qualifying session. However, 21 cars should make it a pretty calm start of this race at least to try to make something happen there for Lion Pony Motorsports. David Wright, likewise, did not have a good qualifying session, did phenomenal last night, did pretty good on Friday night as well. See what he can do here from 17th on the grid alongside him. Jonathan Homebrink with Austin Mongold and Patrick Oberstadt behind him. Prophecy Motorsports, both of them. Prophecy Motorsports starting at the very back of the field. Tommy Withers rounding out the 21-car field tonight in that 23-car at the very tail of the field. "94 laps, 250 miles ahead of us here at Talladega. Going to be a very interesting situation as it arrives this evening. 3 stages here tonight. Stage 1 on lap 20. Stage 2 on lap 50.
Yeah,
That's
easy.
when the stage breaks are.
Easy, quick math. No half numbers. Well, it wouldn't be a half number, but no odd numbers or even numbers. Quick, 25 and 50.
Marshall, LaJoy, Proudfoot, top 3. All of them trying to play spoiler. 8 drivers, all marked in red on the left side of your screen. They are playoff drivers trying to extend their championship ambitions. Jeremy Breo, the defending champion, will not be able to defend his championship anymore. Knocked out after missing races in the round of 16. Let's see how he comes back here in Talladega. Pace car is in. Green flag is out. The Talladega 250 is underway. We're racing in Alabama.
Is about to come in the books right now. We can see a little bit of raciness up to the front right now Reynolds looks like he's going to be able to lead lap 1 with the B-Tron teammate in tow. Reynolds will take lap 1 in the books. Right now, kind of looking through the wire right now, Emma Kruger dropping to the back right now because she's having a bit of a blinking issue. It was on the warm-up lap, and now it's still kind of plaguing her right there at the moment. So she's going to try to just hang on here, hope it resettles, because she just needs to get some points here. Try to get further around here. You can see just in the back that red car blinking a little bit. But right now it's Reynolds, Gaiman, Breo, 3 B-Tron. They were strong at Daytona to start the season. They were strong at the first Talladega race, even though they ended up not... Actually, they did win the Talladega race with Stefan Oberstadt. So B-Tron has been a sneaky fast team. Maybe not sneaky, just a very fast team. Very loud fast team. Dominates plate racing. Right now, they are 1, 2, 3 at the moment, leaving that inside line on a charge. Lap 2 will go to Reynolds in the book as well.
Remember that Reynolds was not a part of the team at the start of the season at Daytona. He was 1 out of 4 against that team at Daytona for the season opener. Moves to the team after Watkins Glen, and has since continued that push for championship glory.
Yep.
Right now sitting ahead of Josh Gaiman, as you mentioned, Breo there in 3rd, Everett Marshall there in 4th for line power. And I believe next car behind him might be Proudfoot there, so it's line power on the bottom as well.
Yep. It's a Proudfoot, and then it's, yeah. So it's a little bit of a spaced out thing there. LaJoie's the first car on the outside line there. Getting up with Proudfoot, and that's fair play. So it's 3, like you were saying, 3 B-Trons, 2 line powers, and then you got Seth Wansing there.
But yeah, behind Blake Henderson.
Blake Henderson, I should say. Yeah, Blake Henderson, Wansing's one behind that in that Miller Lite scheme.
Pretty easy running so far in this field. Again, you see a bunch of cars tied up, mostly single file at the moment on the inside lane. 4 cars on the outside lane, but that outside lane not moving anywhere at the moment. Yeah, 5 cars looks like out there. Austin Mongold at the very back, moving to the outside lane, trying to gain some spots. He will do so with least resistance. But that inside lane's where the top 4 sit uncontested at the moment. First cars you see side by side. It's Fetter Place in the 34, LaJoie in the 88.
Yeah.
Outside lane beginning to work a little bit. Proudfoot trying to push LaJoie forward. Donald Ray, a little bit of space between Ray in the 50 and Proudfoot in the 22. And then you've got, I believe that's Homebrink in the 20 and Mongold in the 4 on that outside lane to complete that 5-car push.
Would be correct.
But again, that inside lane, taking it easy so far. With teammates 1, 2, and 3. Making it pretty easy at the moment.
Yeah, speaking of that 4-car running the Talladega, we know in real life, Stuart Hotras Racing with Ryan Preece and Chase Briscoe both ran Talladega night schemes. Well, it looks like Austin Mongold tried to get in the flavor of spirit. You can see him in the Me scheme back there in the number 4, just on the outside line. So feeling the track named after the movie, named after the track. He's currently rocking on the outside line. Last car on that outside line at the moment. A little bit of a checkup there with LaJoie. See the effects, but we'll keep it all nice and tidy here. To get a little spacey. Henderson going to jump out with Wansing here. And they're going to take the line on the outside line. I think one more car jumped out as well. I think that was Feemster that elected to go with.
Yeah, the 21.
So a bit of a outside line checked up. So it looks like Henderson feels like he wants to be towards the front. And he's going to be joined in co by Wansing and Feemster.
A lot of contingency from the HTL Cup Series on that outside lane now. Obviously, Breo from the running the HTL Cup Series as well. We saw a lot of, obviously, Blake Henderson, one of the owners of HTL, running the front of the outside lane. Wansing has been a part of HTL for a couple seasons now. Feemster joining in as well. So some chemistry working right now with those cars in the outside lane as they try to make a push for the race lead. As they've pushed Mike LaJoie down to be 4th in line on that outside lane behind, in front of Donald Ray and Jonathan Homebrink, while Austin Mongold has moved to the inside lane now ahead of, that is the Pennzoil car of Elvis George.
Correct. Oh, George has run that Pennzoil scheme multiple weeks here. Loves that yellow scheme. You know, he did get a little bit of a number change throughout the season, but he is back with the team now in the 2. He's looking to try to go towards the front. But up front, though, you can see Henderson now getting that toe on the outside line. Looks like he wants to take the lead here. We'll see if he can lead this.
Him and Wansing are hooked up.
Yep. And it's worth noting that, yeah, right now Wanzing's a bit of the odd one out. Obviously, again, friends where you can find them, teammates don't really matter in this situation. But Wanzing and Henderson, even though they do have partnerships in HCL and what have you, not teammates in this race as Feemster's teammates with Henderson in that regard. Now Henderson going to drop to low, and now it's going to be Feemster, speaking of, going to get pushed to the front by Michael Joy. A big train on the outside line. And it looks like they'll hold strong here, but they're getting a little bit spaced out there. You can see just there with Homebrink and Ray. Off for the checkup just a bit here to keep it in tow.
I believe that's Edward Marshall between the two on that outside lane that Homebrink had to check up for.
I think that's Proud because Marshall's on the inside line. I think.
No, he's not. Marshall's on the outside lane now.
Yep, you are correct.
Him and Breo had the same color palette.
Yeah,
but
that's what threw
Marshall,
me off.
I've been keeping an eye on Marshall because I know Breo's staying with Josh Gaiman at the moment on that inside lane. Marshall's the one that tends to move around a lot more early on in the races. And that's going to be something important to kind of follow up on here because every driver has a set of tendencies now. And, we're looking, we've done 30 races now with this group. Or in my case, I've been in this group for almost 2 years.
We're going to have to hold that. Homebrink's around. Looks like going Stefan
that will be a caution.
Yep. Oh, I think Homebrink tried to come down. You can see him just getting a little bit more of a piece there.
And they wrecked even more there as drivers were still trying to sort themselves out. Withers involved.
Yeah.
Homebrink, Oberstadt, and Kruger. I don't know if Kruger was in it or not. Kruger's not in it. Kruger lost the draft.
Yeah, Kruger lost the draft because of her connection issue. She's blinking a lot, so she pulled back on lap 2. I think from what I'm hearing from comms, it may have been a situation of Homebrink not cleared coming down, but we'll let the replay tell us this. But
yeah, we're going to find out pretty quickly here what happened, and we're going to go to our handy-dandy, I think, a chopper camera here, and try to figure out what happened. This is Homebrink. Homebrink is the green car on the outside lane, furthest to the right.
And that's behind him is Stefan Oberstadt in that white and orange 3 car.
Yeah, I think Oberstadt was peeking to the outside lane. Thought Oberstadt would go with him to try to make a 3rd lane. Oberstadt was firmly against that idea. And
then he's holding his line here, and then it looks like Homebrink tries to come back. And at that point,
I think Netcode may have triggered that a little bit because it seemed like they were both kind of holding their lines. Netcode, I think, pulled Homebrink a little to the left, and all of that kind of took off on its own. Samil got a huge piece of that, clipped Oberstadt there. There's Austin Mongold again involved in an accident. That is his 4th race in a row involved in one.
Yep. There's Alfred's George. Looks like he'll get mostly okay through.
James Kerr gets through just fine.
Kerr, on the other hand, not so lucky. He'll get in tow with a 3 car. And it was about to play out here. Just coming back up saying right in the Wonder Bread machine there.
Yeah, the 41 of Patrick Oberstadt, and as you saw Withers there, the Wheaties machine.
Yep. So again, for those, we'll take one more replay first here. See if we can get a good shot here.
We're going to go on board with Oberstadt here, the number 3 machine. Obviously, you see the contact's already started, so we'll back it up a little bit. And this is out of turn 2. Oberstadt stays in the middle.
Yeah. And I'll just park it here. Let's get one more look here. We'll check on the back cam right now of Stefan Oberstadt.
See if we can go to Jonathan Homebrink here, because this will be a good indicator as to if Homebrink move. Keep an eye on that dash line. Homebrink peeks to the outside. Does he move back left? I don't see him move left notably until Netcode grabs him.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, that was a Netcode situation because
I think Netcode pulled him together there because they were trying to hold in tight. I don't think Homebrink was trying to give up that middle lane.
No,
but that is indeed what happened there. So first caution on lap number 9.
Defending Talladega winner involved, but worth noting if you are new to the series that all cars do get 1 fast repair for their troubles. So they can elect, if they were obviously involved in that incident now, they can elect to burn it, or with the case of Proudfoot, Smeal, Kerr, Mongold, and Withers, they're electing to keep it in the back pocket for now. They're going to elect to fix the car up as best they can and try to make something work. Actually, I think every car elected to fix damage there except for Homebrink, who I think burned the fast repair. So everyone else going to hang on, at least for now, because obviously long race, probably not going to be the last caution we're going to see. At least if I was a bet man, I'd say that. So we're going to see choose in effect here. Obviously, again, if you're also new to the series as well, we do have the choose cone rule in effect. A Squared does follow a lot of the NASCAR procedures and rules when it comes to current day rules. So as they make rules, rules will change for them. And the choose is in effect. Feimster is going to go high, and Henderson will go low, and that will be the first two. And as they slot through here, see how they all pick up here. Going to be Wanzing and Reynolds, row number 2. Ray, Gaiman and Ray, row 3. Marshall, and I believe Feather plays row 4. And then row 5 will be the 74 of Breo and the 88 of Mike LaJoy. That will be the first 5 rows here. So, speaking of, Emma Krug will get an EOL for connection issues, so she doesn't cause an issue. So we are going green this time by... It's going to be on Henderson's... Actually, Feimster's control, because... No, it's Henderson. Henderson's control.
Yep, it's on Henderson's control. It's Henderson and Feimster on that front row. Teammates there. Then it's Wanzing and Reynolds, Gaiman and Ray, Marshall and Fetter Place, Breo, LaJoy, the top 10. All 21 cars still running. James Kerr, the only car off the lead lap, having elected to take his repair manually.
Yep. Which, again, don't hate. It's easy if getting cautious precautions. As long as he can stay in the draft, you should be able to get that lap back. With the stage only ending on lap 25. So in the restart zone we are. Green flag is back out, and away we go again. Feimster gets a good launch there. He should have the option to come down if he so chooses, and he will line up right in front of his teammate. Well, part-time teammate, but teammate no less. As that outside line is very discombobulated at the moment, so take at least a lap here to get him reward. Right now, inside line, she gets a little bit bogged down there, and it's going to be a bad scramble to get low here. You're going to see Ray and Wanzing, they'll jump down. Sunday Monday Racing teammates, but Gaiman and Reynolds will like to stay high here at the moment. Reynolds will take back the lead and will lead that lap. This game is how racy do you want to be here early on? For some drivers, stage points really matter in a situation. Obviously, with 4 player drivers not here tonight, it's going to make the road a bit easier, but again, getting some stage points, any stage points, could be crucial if you don't think you're going to be strong at the Roval next week. But you don't want to jump the car chasing mythical points. Wanzing and Ray get a good little launch off out of 4 here. Getting pretty racy in that mid-pack. Lap will go to Wanzing. Few cars are struggling to keep up with the draft at the moment. A lot of the cars that were affected in the damage of the incident, including Smeal, Withers, Mongold, and Emma Krug, are still fighting connection issues. They're all not in this pack we are currently watching. So the top 16 are in this little pack we're watching right now at the moment.
Reminder, stage break ends on lap 20. So it is a rush to the stage points right now.
Yep. Bit of separation there in that inside line. Which again, kind of being respectful here. You don't want to bump someone out of the corner. That's a big no-no. No bumping in the corners. Trying to be ironed up on that outside line. Again, inside line, even though they got pretty much the same amount of cars here, just not getting that forward momentum they need to get going here. And we've sometimes it's a situation when we've seen plate racing, sometimes some cars are great at pushing, some cars are great at leading. Sometimes you can be a great pusher, but not a great leader. See what they'd like to do with the 34 here. They don't have much options per se. But if a new car jumps down here like David Wright, I think, is going to do here, he's going to jump low. So now with Wright at the helm, Mike LaJoy going to try to make a late move there. He'll get it done, and he'll slot in. So Mike LaJoy and David Wright take over leading the train here.
I don't like that move.
No, it wasn't right. Ooh. I thought it was going to end bad.
Almost did. A bad bump there between Gaiman and Reynolds, but it allowed the beach run cars to get together, and now you watch that outside lane is gone.
Yeah.
And now David Wright realizes that he made a mistake.
Yeah, look
and
how
he's
much
trying
he's
to cut his losses because Mike LaJoy, now the redheaded stepchild of this group, no one wants to help him at all.
Nope. They're all going to fan around here, but now they're pretty much single file here at the moment. And again, no incentive for the top 3 to pull out and do anything here. Actually, top 4, because remember, Oberstadt's also part of that team. Yeah. And Patrick Oberstadt's related by blood, so technically the top 5, there's no real incentive for either car to jump out here. Edward Marshall going to be the first one on the inside line now. But he's going to be basically on an island along with Homebrink, and I believe that is Kevin Feimster right behind. Yep. So those 3 are kind of alone on this inside push. But yeah, top 5, there's no reason for either car to leave that perch, especially with the stage coming close to an end.
Again, 16 cars in this group. Top 10 at the end of the stage score points. 3 laps to go in the stage. And you can tell the business picked up.
Yeah. Which is weird because again, we still got a lot of laps. We got 94 laps total in the race, so it's just not a marathon. It's a marathon, not a sprint. But when playoffs are on the line, points can matter for stages. See a little bit of a push here. Like again, with Stefan Oberstadt, for example, coming in his race, I think it was only 3 above the line. Confirm that real fast right now. He was actually 4 above the line. So getting at least, if he can get a 5, he'll get 5 points. Again, it could be helpful. Pit lane has closed, so we've hit 2 to go in the stage. But Reynolds, Gaiman, Breo now in that middle groove. Wanzing and Henderson going to try to make the high side work. And LaJoy in tow, pushing. Going to try to get that low line work with Patrick Oberstadt, if you will. Some wheeling and dealing there. You can see Fireplace jumps to the low line. Feimster trying to try something in the side drafting. He's lost touch to Breo, but that's 70, that's 61. Oh, 33 got a little wiggly there. Gaiman gonna go high. Wanzi gonna shoot it low here, but he's got no one behind. They're 3 wide here, coming to the end of the stage here next time by. Breo going up the surface here to time Reynolds. Gaiman still on the high side with Henderson. Wanzing's got 3 lines to block. Which line does he think's gonna have the best run? He'll block cover Gaiman. Breo and Reynolds will jump low here with assistance with Feimster. And now Wanzing gonna be left out to dry here. He's gonna be in the sucker hole. Henderson will not follow. Feimster gets a little bit up the racing surface. Ray gonna be right there, gonna send Feimster high. And as they're coming out of the tri-oval, it looks like it's going to be Breo's stage to win. And as they come off the tri-oval, Breo is going to win the stage. Reynolds second, Feimster third, Henderson fourth, Ray fifth, Gaiman 6th, Oberstadt 7th, Proudfoot 8th, Patrick Oberstadt 9th, Alfred George 10th. That will be your 10 drivers finishing in the stage there, 1 through 10. And if that's how they're racing for stage points to win a stage, oh boy. when we get to the final 5, it's going to be gloves off. The pace car is currently going to regroup the field here. Pit stops will be this time by if, again, cars elect to pit, which I'm assuming most of the top field will elect to pit here, get fuel, may or may not tires. We'll see on strategy choice, but at the very least, we'll fuel. Obviously, if they're getting full fuel, they'll probably want to get tires too, because why not? As the field catches up to the pace car here. Now, the main thing is you do not want to make mistakes on pit load. It's still early, so if you do make a mistake, you could recover. But you don't want to make, we've seen at least once or twice this season where cars made a slight mistake on pit lane, whether just lack of judgment or lack of concentration, whether putting them off strategy or putting them in a bad spot. So you do not want to make a mistake if you can help so. See if the whole field elects to come in here. Bray will lead him on in. Everyone is coming on in except the lucky dog, James Kerr. He will stay out to get his lap. Keep an eye on the pit lane here. See who comes off first. See if anyone maybe tries something different. Speaking of different, looks like Proudfoot tried the memo here. Fuel only for him. He will lead him out of the way. Henderson will come out second. 8-second pit stop for him along with Themester. So 2 tires for both. Then it's Breo, Reynolds, Gaiman, Oberstadt, Stefan Oberstadt, Alfreds George, Jonathan Holmbrink, and Edward Marshall will be your top 10. Ray, Featherplace, Wanzing, Wright, Mongold, all elected to take 4 tires there. Most of the field, though, elected to take fuel only or 2 tires. So, differing strategies at the least. Now, tire wear is not the be-all, end-all here. You can go long distances with switching 2 tires and trying different strategies. So, we do see it happen here. But some want that grip at the very least, especially late in a run. If that thing hits sideways, maybe hard to save or hard to wheel that car into gaps when push comes to shove.
Alrighty, so we've been working on the points here. So points as they currently run. We'll see if we can pivot to a camera where we can actually see everything here. Points as they run right now.
Alrighty.
So Michelle obviously not here, will not score any points. Gaiman already locked in, but still scored some stage points in the first stage. Several cars did not move positions. Kevin Feemster, we already saw, like he was entering this race, he was 11th. He's already up to 8th place. He's already gained spots just by scoring stage points here tonight. That's a huge momentum boost, and that's how important these stage points are going to be. Overstack gained a spot as well, scoring a stage point, a few stage points over Tom Sears, who's also not present. So Tom Sears already dropping a spot, and everyone else obviously moving positions as well as we get ready for the choose here. But that's the situation right now after the first stage. Already some movement going on, making it very vital now. This second stage and the end of this race will be very important, but it's already looking very bad for those that did not make the race today.
Should be worth noting, we do have some playoff implications here. Emma Kruger has pulled it behind the wall. The connection issues have been a bit too plaguing for her. She's hit the 10% requirement, so she will get points, and she will get last place points billings. So at the very least, she's not in a situation where she's putting her chips mainly on the Roval, but with an opportunity, like a lot of points being left out because of her retiring and the connection issues, she's going to have a very strong run at the Roval. So she is now behind the wall, leaving 7 playoff drivers still running in this race. So choose just happened there while we were kind of covering the points and breaking some information. So we'll go over that real fast. It is going to be Proudfoot and Henderson row number 1. It's going to be Breo and Feemster row 2. Reynolds is going to be partnered up with Alfred George. Gaiman with Marshall. Stefan Oberstadt with Brandon. Not Brandon Fetterplace. It is Brandon Fetterplace. My mistake. So that's the first 5 rows here. They're going to line up. Some cars liking to come down a second time there under cautions to possibly fix some more damage or maybe get off sequence here. But most of the cars that did were involved in the opening wreck.
Alrighty. Gonna be very interesting start to stage 2 again. This time 26 laps under green. With stage 2 ending on lap 50. Through the restart zone we go. Stage 2 underway. Proudfoot Henderson lead us to green.
1-2 for presidential racing. Henderson, Proudfoot, I should say, will jump low here. Do kind of what we saw similar with Feemster last time when he jumped low, and now it will be Proudfoot doing the same here.
Absolutely.
Again, very spaced out here. Seeing the wide shot there. A lot of cars not really grouped up here with this main line per se. So that outside line losing momentum quickly as there's only 3 cars currently on the high line. That's Reynolds. That's all B-Tron. Reynolds, Breo, and Gaiman. And Breo will jump low here. He'll dip. So it's just going to leave, Gaiman's also going to jump too low. So it's leave Reynolds alone on that high groove with no help coming from Miles. So he's probably going to have a big hole here. He can elect to pop in between LaJoy and Marshall, and he can take it. But right now, single train here at the moment. But as this field gets momentum and we get close to the end of the stage, I don't think this will be lasting for long.
Right now, it's presidential racing 1, 2, 3, and 4 from Proudfoot to Alfred George. So a new team leading the way, and they are leading the way emphatically. Then it's via line power with Marshall and Fetterplace still. And then you see the B-Tron cars 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th right now. So everyone's single file. I think this is the fuel save stretch of the race.
Probably. It's weird because it's like you said when you're just listening on the teams here, you got 4 presidential racing, 2 line power, and then 4 B-Tron, with Mike LaJoy being the kind of the oddball out with his teammate James Kerr in 12th. But I think you're not wrong. I think right now it's kind of an ensured like, hey, we're not going to we just save some fuel here, make sure we get comfortably to it, and make sure we get the numbers we need to hit. No reason to race hard here yet and make everyone fall back.
So you have 26 laps under green, and obviously they pit on lap 22. So I think there's a little bit of fuel save needed to make this happen.
I would believe.
So
I would agree with you on that one.
And obviously you look at, again, there's a group of cars from 15th on back, David Wright, that are not attached to this group at all. That is Wright, Mongold, Oberstadt, and Wanzing in this 4-car line that lost the draft already. And if you're fuel saving, that's a bad idea. It's easier to be in this big line and just lift, because the further back you are, the more you're lifting. Except for if you're in that 4-car group, now you're too far back, because now everyone's got to push to get back to this group of 15.
Yeah. That 4-pack includes Wright, Mongold, Oberstadt, Patrick Oberstadt, and Seth Wanzing, 2 playoff drivers in that pack of 4. And they're kind of touch distance here. Obviously, the advantage is we do see a little bit of a space incident out here with Ray. Kerr gets kind of left at the tables. He's now on the apron. He'll pull back up there. You just see in the far ground. So he'll fall back to that second pack here and give him another number. And actually, he's a little bit too slow, so actually they'll go around him. He'll try to latch on here at the tail end. So 1 extra number in that pack for them. But yeah, fuel saving is the key of the game here. Obviously, you don't want to be leading the train as you can technically back down the throttle per se, but also you're not getting any benefits of the draft. So we'll see how it all plays out. Looks like the second pack has now officially caught the first pack back up. So
the indication that they are all fuel saving is pretty apparent here. They were touching 200 miles an hour in that first stage. Top speed right now is 186. So they've backed it down almost 15 miles an hour.
And the thing is, it's just going to take one person bucking the trend here, as it looks like we may see it with the 20 here on that high line. It takes one person saying, hey, I'm not going to fuel save here. I want to go to the front. I want to race. And right now, that 20 looks like he's the man on the mission here. And he's already gained 4, 5, 6 spots as he is climbing to the front here. And there's a chance he may leave this lap.
No one's going to fight him because it's going to help Proudfoot more than anything. Presidential Racing's keeping an eye on that because now Homebrink's going to shoot himself in the foot because if he's not saving fuel, he's not going to make it.
Nope.
Speed right now between everyone in the top 10, they just touched 184. This is the fastest part of the racetrack. They are saving fuel big time. What Proudfoot and Henderson just did, they made sure that Homebrink couldn't do that again. They made sure Homebrink couldn't go all the way to the front and mess things up completely. Because now Homebrink's trapped, and he's going to look to the outside again.
Yeah.
But no one's going with him right now. He's just trying to get to the front, but he's not going to save fuel. He's banking that there's going to be a caution, but everyone's saving fuel. When we have these fuel-safe stages, they go caution-free.
I mean, the thing is it's interesting to know because Homebrink made a big gain there. He kind of slotted in third and been comfortable, but he wants to go to the front. You see another car on that high line as well, 74 Abreu. I don't think it's a motion to go to the front here. Well, in a couple spots here, looking at his speedometer at the moment, he's going 190, which is within range of the pack. But being out for too long is not going to help get that fuel number you need.
It really isn't.
You can just see a big gap between the top two and then Homebrink, leaving a lot of space there. You could say for the Holy Spirit, if you will. But it looks like now Abreu charging up here, going to pass George, the other presidential race machine, the 21, and he's going to be right between Homebrink and Henderson at the moment. And he'll slot in. Ooh, big slot in there, but it was a lot closer on that camera angle than it was in the race. And now he'll take over third position here, away from Homebrink. So now it kind of just looks like a situation where, at least the past two times, one car got tired of sitting, so he ran to the front, pulled in where he could, and then gained the net positions. And again, if Homebrink can hit the number in question, in theory, it's a net gain for him at the very least. But these
are all acts of boredom. These are acts of drivers that are not in the playoffs. They have nothing to fight for here. They're just bored. This is the part of the race where for the drivers it is excruciating because you're hitting a number. And as drivers, they hate hitting numbers. They just want to go, 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 and push, push, push. You don't get to do that in this stage. If you're trying to fight for playoff points and stage points, you don't get to do that. And for Feemster and for Fetter Place, that's kind of what they have to do. They don't have a choice. I'm surprised that Feemster's letting stage points kind of slip away. If the whole objective is to make it to the end of the stage, you don't want to let Feemster and Abreu and Homebrink take those points away. You kind of want to stay with your teammates here. Now that Proudfoot and Henderson are beginning to pull away, this should be an interesting little tandem that we're following here.
Yeah, they have put a good gap there on Abreu right now. Still make them obviously big pack, small pack. They will catch if necessary. But right now, it's odd as they are pulling now 1 second clear. And again, easy to reel in when necessary, but the farther they get back, the more laps it will take, or at least longer distance it will take. Let's rephrase that. But yeah, to boredom, I can kind of agree with that point as people have run long endurance races, Champ Car 500 at Indianapolis, along with other things. You gotta just hit numbers at some points in stages and races, and you don't want to do that. As we see more tandems breaking up here. See a second tandem pulling away here with Abreu and Homebrink away from the main pack. And then pack 3, it looks like Feemster and George, they're pulling away from that next line. So we're seeing weird packs of 2 dissipating, if you will, but looking at the gap between Feemster and Proudfoot right now, it's 2 seconds. So right now, at the very least, Proudfoot and Henderson either feel confident, they've hit a number, and they want to get as big of a gap as they can, or they're, again, banking on a caution. They think caution will come, but if everyone's saving, but eventually someone will flip a switch and be like, all right, I hit the number, let's go. Ooh, 20 is getting a little bit of a warp. Looks like it's getting settled out here. 20 having a little bit of a blank connection here. Hopefully he can get that settled for his own sake. He's going to get caught by the pack here.
It's a very interesting situation that we see the drivers in now because they've allowed Prophet and Anderson to walk away.
Yeah. 3 seconds is the gap. Well, a little under 3 seconds, I should say. And eventually they would reel him in before lap 50, but the question is when at this point, because it's still growing at the moment.
Yeah.
Home breaks now, 3 seconds behind.
Reminds me of the duels at Daytona last season in the HL Cup Series, where we had fuel save strategies in that second duel, allow the 3-car breakaway to just put a half a lap on the rest of the field. We're kind of seeing that. Obviously, we're in a stage, so it'll be neutralized at the end of the stage, but
yeah,
Prophet and Anderson just waltzing away right now, 3.5 seconds now.
Yeah. And the thing is, neither driver is fighting for stage points, so they're just here for the fun of it. They don't care. It's either win the race or bring back the steering wheel in their minds. Same thing with home break, if you will, but Feemster, actually, looking at the top 10, only drivers in the top 10 for the moment fighting for playoff points is Feemster, Feather Place, and Reynolds. Everyone else that's currently got in the playoffs is currently outside the top 10. So 3 out of 7 still running are in that top 10. So a lot are just here for the fun of it. They want to win, or at the very least, if you're driving for Line Power or Sunday Monday Racing or even B-Trunk, still a little bit further back, maybe Constructor Glory and trying to get that gap closed up, but mostly for the fun of it. Looks like Wanzing, Withers making a second line here in the second pack there. You can just see on the shot there. Wanzing, Withers, 75 occur, and looks like Smeal was there, but Smeal's not keeping touch. And they're going to charge here.
Yeah, they're losing time hand over fist.
Yeah.
It's almost 6 seconds the gap now.
LaJoy going to jump through as well. So now it's kind of a reshuffling, if you will. Again, 5 seconds is the gap now from Wanzing to Bradford. Wanzing just took it back, so it is go time for some.
I think it's interesting. I think we've seen this a decent amount here on ABN across all of our different stock competitions that we broadcast. A little bit of overcompensation in terms of fuel saving.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we've reached that point now.
I would not disagree. I think you can, you said you can oversave to a point where it is detrimental to your cause. Obviously, if you run out, it's not good, especially with this being such a long track. But it's a risk-reward situation. But if you oversave, you're just hurting yourself. I mean, looking at now the third pack there, it's basically kind of just staying in that distance. That includes Reynolds, Stefan Oberstadt, Josh Gaiman, David Wright. 4 playoff drivers right there that are now kind of, I won't say locked out of getting stage points, but it's going to be a miracle, if you will, to get stage points being so far back. And they're in. So they thought they couldn't make it. They want to get as much of distance as they can, assuming if the rest of the field elects to pit, they will cycle out to the lead, and so they have a gap too for it.
So this will be either genius or disastrous for them, because either they were smart and realized that you couldn't save that much fuel, or they were just trying to avoid going a lap down.
Yeah.
Because they will take fuel only on this pit stop, for sure. So 9 cars at the front of the field.
Mm-hmm. Yep, 6.73 for Blenderson, 7.98 for Proudfoot. Fuel only for both. Looking at that second line there, they're getting kind of racy, and Reynolds kind of went on the radio comms and let the drivers know, hey, we're not going to catch them running two abreast here, first 4 rows deep in second pack. So we'll see if they can get re-caught up here or regrouped. Maybe the memo gets passed, try to get back up to this pack now led by race leader Wanzing. Tough Wanzing. It's the calm before the storm, if you will, here on lap 40. As, again, you got interesting elements playing out here. You got the pack here from first all the way to 18th, all trying to possibly save enough fuel to get to the end of stage on lap 50, or just hoping that, yeah, right now they're hoping they can save enough fuel to get to the end, while if you're Henderson and Proudfoot, who elected the pit there, they're thinking the magic number is not possible this pack of 18 and trying to hope the cycle out works in their favor. I mean, looking at the speeds at the moment, they are been picking up a little bit. Second pack has picked it up to the 190 range to try to get back up.
They're
to
in
this
range
line.
now. They're not far behind.
Yeah, they're within range. But yeah, they're trying to get a little bit closer, if you will. Tommy Reynolds is getting tired of sitting. He's going to try to go and lead the chain in front of Alfred George. Going to get helped by all the B-Tron cars. They're going to push around here and going to go to the high groove. But yeah, look at the speeds. Wanzing's running a 186 right now, leading this train. And then cars in line as well, running 185, 186s. Not running the high peaks they ran earlier at around the high 190s, 200 range. Keeping it back down, just to try to, again, make that fuel number work.
On board now with Josh Gaiman as he makes his way forward with help of teammates. As is one of his teammates, John Smeal, behind him. Breo behind Smeal. As they go for the race lead.
Wanzing coming in. Wanzing in. Feemster as well. So they are coming in. So we'll see how many elect to follow suit. We got those two at least confirming on the radio they're in. And it looks like most of the pack's coming in. Oh, Withers had to thread the needle there along with a few others. Big lockups. Oh, Smeal missed it. And we have a spin. Couple cars. That's Reynolds. Homebrink spinning on pit road in front of Wanzing.
And Wanzing, yeah.
As Homebrink and Reynolds still struggling to get it around.
And
they try to lower
Henderson
it down.
and Proudfoot look like geniuses.
Yeah, they avoided the chaos of pit lane. They got it woed down in time. And now they're going to cycle through here and easily get ahead of some of them. Actually, all of them, let's rephrase that, but big gaps in the ones that spun. And yeah, you'll see him zoom by right now. Gaiman just left the pit box here. He was the first one off, along with the 74. And the thing that stinks, Breo, B-Tron just lost two of their cars there in that little, actually one of the cars with Reynolds as they all pitted. But yeah, there goes Henderson. There goes Proudfoot. They'll cycle through. Second pack will be pitting right now as we speak with David Wright and the rest.
Whoa! Oh. I don't think everyone was planning to. Line Power was not planning on it, and they're going to lose time because of it.
Yep. Even Featherplace just on the radio was confused. Looked like a late call there by LaJoy. He was waiting for the last minute to dip down. Featherplace did not see it coming. No call on radio, so no real warning. And the thing that stinks is Featherplace has lost a lot of time to the car behind in question he was with, and Marshall, so he's going to have to back it down a bit. But there's presumably race leaders, Henderson and Proudfoot. They will probably cycle out with the lead if, again, 34 and 16 to pit. But assuming everyone else pitting, that's probably a guarantee that they'll follow suit.
Yeah, behind Henderson and Proudfoot is Josh Gaiman, but Gaiman's on his own.
Yeah, Gaiman's got no assistance. Breo, big cushion him, and then the rest of the pack. Featherplace and Marshall did not pit that time by.
They're going to try to make it. Now at this point, they're kind of stuck. For lack of better words, they're kind of screwed.
Yeah, the thing is, they got a 23-second cushion, but the problem is Marshall, he's left out alone. Featherplace, at least he's going to probably hook up the home brink here. So we'll see, but Marshall is basically doing the dead man's float right now in the middle of no man's land. He's going to have to pack it down enough to try to hit the number, but two fast cars here going boots the throttle, trying to catch up.
See, there's Josh Gaiman on his own there. In fifth place right now. Breo would be the next one to him, and Breo's even on his own as well. Then you look at Feemster, George, Obersat, and Wright. They're going to get around Breo here.
Yep. This shows you the speed difference when you're in a pack to not a pack.
Yeah.
And you can see right now that same charge is going to go at Featherplace in, Marshall staying out.
Yeah, they're kind of just stuck in that position now. They can't do much about it. Unfortunately, Marshall, I think, has made his bed. He's going to lay in it. Feather Place going to drop out of the stage points completely.
Yeah.
Anderson and Proudfoot looking like geniuses.
Yeah, I guess they realized no one else was going to make it, or they assumed no one else was going to make it. They'll make it work. It kind of stinks in the front because with the stages, this is all going to be neutralized. But they would have looked like geniuses and had such a big gap. It would have been kind of boring, if you will, to a degree as a viewer watching these two pull away because of that strategy. But it's a hat tip moment.
It's very incredible watching the strategies that all plays out in real time because it's hard to read intentions here because Presidential split up in two different strategies.
Yep. Speaking of, Marshall just came in, so it will now officially connect over to these two. Just want to confirm that.
And the presidential cars are still 1, 2, 3, and 4 at the moment.
Yeah. Somewhere Ryan Pennell, wherever he is probably smiling at the moment, watching this happen.
Moving to Michigan. That's where he's been the last couple weeks. He's been moving across the country. I hope everything's doing well for him. We miss seeing him on track. But, yeah, this is going to be pretty insane stuff here. The Feather Place dropped to 13th place. Marshall drops down to at least 15th, if not worse, because I think he just took tires.
Yeah,
he's got a speeding penalty. He's got a speeding penalty. I'm looking at that timer. It's 23, 24 seconds. 24. He didn't have damage beforehand, so he's got a speeding penalty. He's going to go a lap down.
Yeah. Just salt in the wounds. I think he tried to possibly was maybe taking four, so he didn't have to pit when the stage break occurred. But yeah, now it's just, And yep, you'll see him zoom on by here. He's finally out of his box, but you'll keep an eye on the right of your screen here. Now going to be the left as the camera pans. Behind that 16, you'll see him right there. And now he's officially one down. Good news at the very least, though. He is currently still the first car one down. Bad news is he's fighting Smeal. I think Smeal is in that second pack there, about to catch him.
Not far from it, no.
Mm-hmm.
This is your lead group right now. 2 cars in it, Henderson and Proudfoot.
Oh, actually, he'll be okay. Smeal's not even in that pack. You see on the map there. He's going through the trial over right now. So at least Edward Marshall will keep himself in the lucky dog position. So at the very least, he'll bank his head on that. But yeah, 2 to go. Coming to 2 to go, I should say.
Pit lane will close. Everyone's made their pit stops. Everyone's made their bed. They got to lay in.
Mm-hmm.
Henderson, Proudfoot, Feemster, George, Oberstadt, Gaiman, Breo, Kerr, Wright, and Withers in the top 10 across 3 different groups. Not sure what they're doing, moving on the back straightaway.
I mean, yeah.
Trying to have a little bit of fun, I guess.
Yeah, they're just going to have fun. I wouldn't be shocked if they tried to go across the line side by side, if you will. They have that big enough of a gap. Even again, it's not for the win. It's just for the stage, but one's a part-time driver. The other one is a full-time driver, but neither in the playoffs. So.
One left to go in stage 2.
Mm-hmm.
A little further back. Beatron has finally gotten ahead.
Oh, there goes Feemster, I think.
Feemster trying to save it. He will save it.
And he's now going to be 9th. And yeah, he confused what just happened.
Yeah, he got left out to dry, though.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's pretty clear. Oberstadt leading Gaiman with Breo in tow.
Yeah. Some of these drivers, again, fighting for stage points. David Wright, if you will, knowing he needs not the greatest of the road courses, wants to get as many points as he can.
That'll be Henderson or Proudfoot.
Yep, coming through the travel right now. We'll see if they do a side-by-side. Looks like they're going to get a little racy here. But at the end of the stage, it is going to be Henderson by a nose. Proudfoot second. Oberstadt, Gaiman, Breo. Ooh, Breo, Kerr, Wright, George, Feemster, LaJoy, your top 10. We'll see if that shuffles out in that order, but that's at least what I'm seeing at the moment, the time of the caution. We'll see as they all get bunched up here, though. And that will be the second stage in the books. We'll be getting ready to go for the final one. So as they all get bunched up here, as Carmen is doing her magical math, trying to figure out where the stage points kind of go here. I'll kind of fill us in here at the very least. We get ready for pit stops here. Edward Marshall will get the lucky dog, so he will be back on the lead lap. Smeal will presumably try to get the wave around here if he can dare. Again, if everything works out at the very least. Only 2 cars right now at the moment are 1 down, Marshall and Smeal. Marshall gets the lucky dog. Smeal trying to get the wave around. Emma Kruger currently out of this race, giving us still 20 cars still running.
Pit stop's getting ready to happen here, I believe. So we'll go ahead and pull up the points as they currently run. Josh Gaiman, again, top of the board, scored some extra stage points, scored 7 stage points in this stage. Michelle will stay in second place. Wanzi did not score any stage points here in stage 2. Reynolds likewise did not score in stage 2. Oberstadt did score, and now up to 5th place, ahead of Feather Place. Sears. Feimster scored 2 stage points, gives him 10 total on the night. So he is now firmly in the 8th position ahead of David Wright. Emma Kruger, again, Kruger will not score stage points, but she will score points at the end of this race. Those just haven't been calculated yet. She will score for 21st place. But that is going to be an interesting sort of situation. You see the drivers that have gained the most so far just in the stages alone, and we still have an entire 40 laps of racing to go.
So we're seeing the ins and outs here. I think a few drivers like to roll the dice. Stefan Oberst electing to get fuel only. He'll win the race off pit load. And it looks like Beatron were on the same call here. Breo, Gaiman, and Reynolds all going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 here, with Donna Ray, the first car not named, not with a Beatron sticker on it, going to be 5th, along with former teammate Alfred George in 6th. So top 5 all electing to go fuel only, not fuel only per se, or 2 tires. And Alfred's George and the rest, with George, Feather Place, Feimster, Wright, and Kerr, either coming with 4 tires or 4 tires and electing to fix damage. Should be worth noting a few drivers, like we even saw with Proudfoot and Henderson, electing to have long pit stops here. I think something may have happened, or they've had damage from something. Yeah, because Henderson's clock's been 1:08 right now and some change. Maybe he's elected to take a bathroom break and get a drink. Long clock for either car, who I don't think got clocked for any damage. See if they can get out here. So we're going to have to choose this time by. Still have some cars still on pit lane here. We'll see if they can get out. Obviously, there's still a ways away before it can get caught. Proudfoot going to leave his box now, so he'll successfully make it out. We still got Marshall, Homebrink, Henderson, Mongold, Smeal on pit lane. Henderson and Mongold both leaving as we speak right now. Leaving us with 3 drivers trying to beat the clock. Mongold and Smeal will make it. Homebrink out. Is leaving Marshall. Edward Marshall just got the lucky dog, and he'll make it out just in the nick of time. So here's the choose in effect. First control's gonna be Oberstadt. It looks like Beatron. I would not be shocked if they try to line up here. Nose to town, they will. Oberstadt, Breo, Gaiman, Reynolds, all taking the first 4 slots on the outside. So that's gonna put Donald Ray, first car out of pit lane. That was not with a Beatron sticker. He'll go up. He'll be joined by his former teammate Alfred George. Then Brandon Feather Place. And then wait a second here for some other cars to pop the screen. There's David Wright. He'll slot in as well. So Oberstadt, Ray, first row, Breo, George, Gaiman, Feather Place. Actually, Feimster, I should mistake. Reynolds, Wright, and Feather Place, and James Kerr will be your first 5 rows. So a mad dash to the finish here. When we get going, it'll be just under 40 to go. We've only had 1 caution in the night.
I have a feeling that's about to change.
Mm-hmm. See him get racy here.
Eberstat, Ray, Breo, George, Gaiman, Feemster, Reynolds, Wright. Better place in Wanzing, your top 10. As we get ready to go. Pace car is in. Rolling into the restart zone. Green flag. Back in the air. We're underway. And outside lane got a good jump. Teammates there all together. Leaves Donald Ray hanging out to dry.
You can see Alpha George going to go low here. LaJoy going to follow. You can see a few drivers electing to go low here. Alpha George, the Bahama man, going to be taking that low groove here. Try to challenge to the front. Hasn't led many laps this season. Looking to try to make it a first here. He's going to be a little too far back to get it this time by. If he can keep the charge, he should have the range. Stefan Oberstadt will take the first lap lead. Defending Talladega winner, if you should note. Did it in a different number last time we were here. This time, and had a dog on the front. This time, though, looking to go back-to-back at the Dagger plate races. Right now, on the path, the way to do it.
Right now, so getting as much of that team locked in to the next round as possible. Reynolds, the strongest of this group on the road course. Gaiman already locked in. Breo not in the playoffs. Eberstat looking for his second career win in the series.
Mm-hmm.
Fuel saving not going to be a factor here. It is a It is a one-stop race from here.
Yeah. And again, we saw a few drivers get busted for speeding, and we saw that incident on pit lane between Wanzing, Reynolds, and Holmbrink. So you don't want to make a mistake here. You want to make sure you get in safely and get out safely. It's the money stop we're going to see. It'll be a little bit of time. We're going to see this cut in half. But when we do get there around the 70-lap mark, do not want to make a mistake. And up front, still Breo leading the show. Not Breo, sorry, Oberstadt leading the show. Breo's behind. Oberstadt, they'll lead another lap here. Themes are now beating the car on the inside, taking the charge. He's going to have Wright in tow with him. Wright, Kerr, Proudfoot, Alfred George, first five on the inside. On that outside, it's just the who's who of B-Tron with the regular season points leader, Featherplace, joining that little fray. And racing again, you see that third line. It almost looked like a third line was going to form there for a second, but he was a bit early to try to make a third line work here. But Henderson going to be the challenger here. He's going to have Mongold in tow there. And they're both going to try to go high. You can see a car dipping low. Well, on my perspective, you can. You see there, you can see right there on the inside, jumping low. I think that was Smeal, if you will, that jumped low. But this is going to be the main problem here. That third line's not going to be easy to get forming here. But if you're in that outside line, you got to try to bake up this B-Tron special, if you will. You can't let them link up and stay linked up, or else there'll be no movement on the outside line. Looks like the car's going to jump wide. That's Tommy Reynolds going to cut off Seth Wanzing approach here. Gonna cut off the spies here, but he's gonna leave some of his B-tron teammates out to dry here. As Gaiman's now kind of in the sucker hole as that outside line's losing momentum quickly. Proudfoot gonna jump up right in front of Stefan Oberstadt. And lap lead is gonna go to Feemster. So just in a lap and a half, it has all come kind of crashing down for a second for B-tron. Obviously, still plenty of time to get regrouped, but lines have changed here. Top three now on the inside line, all clear at the moment, and then pretty racy for fourth on back. Oh, big jump up to the front. There you can see a puff of smoke there. Car clipped the wall just a tad. As Reynolds elected to go high. Actually, the Proudfoot's already jumped up. Kind of caught that line of that third line momentum. Now that third line is starting to fall back into obscurity. With Reynolds now leading that charge. Right there, looks like Proudfoot got left to dry there. That outside line is very discombobulated at the moment. The third line kind of sucked the energy out of the second one, and they both kind of fought. Now, both going to the back here. And we're back to one groove at the moment for at least the first 6 cars. Marshall is kind of, and actually Marshall looks almost clear of Reynolds, but they'll still be side by side at the moment.
A little bit of free line earlier. Now it's back down to 2 lanes at the moment. It'll be interesting to see who tries to make that third line work again. Now that B-tron's established control of that outside lane. It's very much turning into what we saw last time at Daytona, where it is everyone against B-tron at the moment. Oh, wow. Feemster overcorrected, over-adjusted to make that block. And it didn't work. He tried to block that outside lane that was building momentum, and he went too far in the other direction. He gave a window to allow Reynolds to go all the way through, and now B-tron controls both lanes. Residential Racing on the outside lane looks like they might try to make a third lane work here with Henderson and Proudfoot on the outside. Feemster not willing to work at the moment on that outside lane. So that presidential lineup will stay at the back of this group. Reynolds leads over David Wright and James Kerr. Kerr to the outside, going for the race lead. He won the last plate race at Daytona, the end of the regular season. Oberstadt leads the lap though.
Yeah, Wright tried, but Oberstadt got there. Now B-tron, like I said, we saw him get linked up early, fell to the back, now back to the front. He can't keep a B-tron down. This will be 3 to go next time by. Ooh, Wanzing, again, making that third line work here. They're leaving the middle of the beat, 3 B-trons in the middle here. They're going to try to sucker them. And right now, if you're kind of in that inside line like a Withers right now, and Alfred George, you're just kind of hoping something doesn't happen above you up ahead, because it may be hard to avoid it when the track at the top goes down the bottom. Cleanest place to be though right now is Wright and Reynolds. They're 1-2 at the moment. Less commotion. Wanzing not going to stick around. He's going to get help with Henderson. 3-4 Reynolds try to cover it off, and he ended up getting left of the dance floor. They're 4 wide in the back, and that's not going to work as we see a couple cars involved around. I'm seeing Reynolds, big lick there for Feemster. Breo involved. But yeah, when they were 4 wide there, it was going to be doom and gloom, and it ended up being doom and gloom. But ooh.
Second caution of the night for an incident comes on lap 65.
Mm-hmm. We'll
So
take a
here's
look at the
what
replay
happened.
here. You'll just see it leads a little bit before this where Wanzing kind of split Reynolds. And then that caused basically Reynolds to kind of get put to the outside. You can see right at the moment, Wanzing jumps down. Reynolds tries to cover here.
Yeah, he moves way too early.
Yeah.
And it allows, obviously, Wanzing and Henderson to go through, and they enter the safe zone here.
And at that point, Feemster goes low, and he can't get as clear as he would want to, and they're four wide here.
Because also plugged that hole as well. They plugged the same hole.
Yeah.
And we'll slow it down here, because Feemster ends up biting the dust a lot here. Does he get clipped by... No, he doesn't get clipped by Reynolds. Oh.
Two separate things happen there. Reynolds clips the wall a little bit, but that's not the thing that sets
Reynolds clipped the wall on his own there. That is, I think that's Oberstadt trying to make his way in front of Feemster.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Because Breo's not on him. Yeah.
No.
Oberstadt's...
No, I was going to say Feemster there. That looks like he was coming down. It looks like they're both going for the same gap at the same time. Because look, Feemster moves first, it looks like. But you can also point out...
Oberstadt's already moving, but Feemster moves in just a little bit too.
Yeah, Oberstadt was already coming up, and then Feemster moved there secondly. So both, again, we're kind of going for the gap there. Oberstadt thought he was clear. Feemster maybe thought he was behind.
I think Feemster got a push from Proudfoot.
Maybe.
See if we can get a better angle of this. Go through a blimp cam here. Keep an eye on the 21 to 22. I think Proudfoot gives him a bad bump. And it kind of helps turn him.
Mm-hmm.
Because Feemster's trying to actually get in front of Reynolds here. Is there a bad bump? Because Oberstadt's already moving at this point. I don't know if he got bumped or just got loose on the tri-oval there. But they get into each other, and that causes a whole melee.
Yeah. So, at the very least, though, as we see pit stops occur here, in theory, everyone should be good to go. Well, I would say should, but then Gage was...
No,
I was going to say, I thought there was only 25 laps and they had a save. So, no, they're not good to go to the end. We still have one more pit stop in the books.
They had to make it to lap 72 to be safe. To the end.
And they didn't. One more caution, and we will get to that number, but if it stays green... everyone will have to pit one more time. Worth noting, Henderson, Wanzing, Gaiman, George, Featherplace, LaJoy, all elected to take fuel only. Wright, Kerr, Withers, Patrick Oberstadt, Ray, Proudfoot, Feemster, all electing to take 4 tires. Mongol fixed some damage or sped on pit lane. Take your pick. Marshall, Reynolds, Breo, Oberstadt, Smeal, and Homebrink. Basically, every B-Tron car and Homebrink all sitting on the pit lane at the moment. Well, 4 out of 5. Ooh, we're gonna see a lot of cars electing to come in double dip, if you will. Do this twice. Allowing George, the Bahama man, to lead the lap here, along with LaJoy and Kerr and Feemster. So this is going to be an interesting choose here, because hearing from the race control, any car that just pitted there, coming out the pit lane, is going to be on the inside line.
Yeah.
So that means 2, 88, 75, and 21 are all electing to choose here. So those 3 on the inside all chose. So it's going to be a weird spot. You don't see this often, but Mike LaJoie is going to be the only car on the outside line, and every other race car that is still running is going to be on the inside line. It's almost like the old NASCAR days when they had the lucky dog, not the lucky dog, but the situation where they put the lap cars on the inside and the outside would be for the lead lap cars. It's almost like that in reverse, except now it's just Mike LaJoie's the only car on the outside line.
Yeah, this is going to be a wild restart.
Yeah, because now Mike LaJoie's in a spot where he's going to have to find a way down, or he's got to try something to get a hole. If he doesn't time this right, he's just going to start falling back, back, back. And there's some fast cars behind. So it's going to be on Alfred George's control, as he was the first car. Took the flag. So George's control, LaJoie second, and then every car you can think of on the inside line. Kerr all the way down on the timing and scoring. Green flag is out in the flagman's hand, and away we go. On lap 68. See, Alfred George already kind of going up here to help LaJoie. It's going to open the door, though, for Kerr and Feemster. Now George going to go low. So now Alfred George kind of, not Alfred George, Mike LaJoie. Bit of a bad spot here. Nose to tail first all the way to Tommy Withers in ninth. There's now a bit of a hole here. He'd like to come down if he wants, and he'll take it right in front of Blake Henderson. Blake Henderson going to give him a big old shove there. So Price is averted for LaJoie, only a couple spots lost. Basically, all the spots he would have lost if he stayed would have went to the low. Actually, lost 2 spots if he went to the low line, but he'll luckily at least avoid crisis. Now the question is, we saw Henderson and Proudfoot do it last time. They went foot to the throttle, build the gap, everyone had to pit. We know everyone has to pit here. So fuel saving is not going to be a concern, because it's not an easy number to hit. But does anyone elect to try it? Not going to be a hittable number. You never know, so maybe daring enough to try it.
With how everyone's racing right now, I don't think so. I think everyone's learned their lesson.
You don't want a repeat of stage 2 where 2 cars pull out, say, 10 seconds, well, 6 seconds, and then gap the field, and then pandemonium ensures. Because we've seen in plate race before, when the pit stop window comes into play, green flag stops, it can shuffle everything up, and it's going to be a have and have not situation. But right now to the front, you can see Marshall and Patrick Oberstadt. Patrick Oberstadt running the Wonder Bread 41 scheme, the other Talladega Night scheme in the field, along with the 4. He's looking to try to take that lead from the Bahama man, Alfred George. So we get a little bit up down there. Henderson choosing high line over low line. Trent is linked up, but they got 6 cars ahead of them right at the moment. Actually, not 6, only 3. But now Alfred George, you can see right there, a bit of a jump down. Marshall going to jump to the low line. I'm at 23 to go here. Marshall is going to lead this lap. Now, again, it feels like the calm before the storm. We know we got the chaos of pit stops about to happen within time, either a caution or chaos pit stops. Whichever one comes first before we see the finish of this race. Should also be remembering as well, Stefan Oberstadt and Brandon Proudfoot and John Smeal all kind of not get going there on the restart. They're going to be the second pack far away from this one. See him in that wide shot there, we'll farther back. See him in that toe. It looks like the scheme's inspired by the man with 2 first names. They're going to try to take the 1-2 here, and they will lead. Well, Patrick Oberstadt will lead this lap here. As the outside line gets some momentum here, the top 3 all clear that inside line at the moment of Marshall. And it looks like we got the 41 electing to come down. He's going to be joined by Austin Mongold. Michael Joy cannot get close enough to join, so now he'll lead the outside train along with David Wright. And with so few cars on that high line, they're going to fall back just a bit here, but they can get that momentum back. We'll see him come back in a second. Breo is thinking about going high there. You can see him kind of flash the leather a bit. We'll slot back in position. With Joy now in the sucker roll here, he's going to be kind of left to dry in the middle. That outside line is basically fully dissolved here. Now David Wright would be the de facto leader of the outside line if it existed, which it's kind of starting to flow. Now, as they run top five, Oberstadt, Mongold, Breo, George, Kerr, and Mongold gonna slingshot here. Slingshot engaged, shake and bake, if you will. He'll not get clear of the 41, though. And look at the charge there from the high line of Wright. And they're gonna put the 4, who tried to maybe make a move to go to the front of the line, is now gonna get left to dry. He's gonna go to the back here, and he's gonna get past here, and he'll tuck behind Mike LaJoy, and he's gone from 2nd to 10th in a span of 2 corners. Breo pushing that 41 hard here. Got some separation from him and Alfred's George. David Wright getting a full head of steam with Blake Henderson in tow. Looking at this top 7, only 1 driver at the moment is playoff eligible, and that is the 42. After that, the remaining top 10, you got Feemster, Gaiman, Reynolds, all in the playoffs. Well, in the playoffs at the moment, with Gaiman being the only one locked in, so he would not have to win if it came down to it. Right, really elect to come down here. Looks like he thought about it, couldn't get the run. But George really struggled to hold that low line at the moment. Getting a little wobbly. Allowing this outside line to get up momentum. He's not as aggressively pushing. He's giving outside line some charge here. Wright, Henderson there basically pushing hard here. Henderson pushing that 42 to promised land. They both can get clear here and jump down if they elect to. And it looks like they will. They'll get clear enough. Now they'll take 1-2, and Michael Choi again, second time this has happened to him. He'll be left alone on a high line again, and he'll have to fall back. He'll slide in right between Alfred's George and James Kerr there. Looks like that was Feemster, but Feemster's 1 behind.
Part of the reason why LaJoy is able to get there so abruptly is because Kerr obviously is team boss there.
Yeah.
Kind of making the marching orders there to kind of get him in line before he lost too much time, because you do need a teammate. You need someone you can guarantee a little bit of help from here. So for them, it was kind of important to kind of get that organized and situated.
Yeah. Looking at this top 5 here, you got 8 different teams in this top 5, right? Driving for Prophecy, Henderson driving for Presidential, Oberstadt driving, blanking right now, Breo driving for Beatron, Alfred George, Presidential. So bit of a mixed bag here, not all linked up nose to tail teammates here. So it's going to be a bit hard to get linked up with a friend here, but at the very least, if you can get one, it can make it easy to time runs and lines. And with Kerr and LaJoy both being in communication, makes it easy. Hey, you're clear, come down. And they can say, all right, we're together. We're going to go on X. Makes it a bit easier than if you're someone like, well, just use an example, Henderson and Patrick Oberstadt, who are not in communication. So if Henderson wants to go, he's got to just hope Oberstadt gets the memo and goes with and follows suit. The advantage is having a teammate, but at the end, friends are where you can find them. And sometimes you just do what you got to do. They may be the enemy team, but if it gets you the win, you don't care who you link up with.
17 laps to go, coming to 16 laps to go. David Wright leads. He won last night in the SNS series. Bit of a different track, that one.
Yeah.
Won at Darlington last night. Confidence boost nonetheless.
100%. A win's a win. It doesn't matter where it comes, and you always feel good after a win. Whether it comes in a plate race, short track, super speedway, road course, what have you. Well, always feels good to win. This time by, we are coming to 15 to go. I think I've said it twice. I'll say it thrice. It's the calm before the storm here. They're kind of buying the time here in a single line, but once we get under 10, they're going to get a little racy because, you know, race for pit lane. If we have to see pit stops occur, cars are going to want to try to get as far up as possible in order to pit, ensure they keep some track position. Because we've seen when green flag pit stops have happened in the final stage of a race or in a final laps of a race, separation can occur. And if you don't get the stop you need, you miss your box, you're a little slow on the jack, what have you, you may end up losing touch with that second pack. And now with so few laps going to be remaining when the pit stops occur, if they occur, again, that's still an if, because we not 100% confirmed, but it's pretty likely. You want to be as close as you can to that front pack. So when you pit, you can be racing for a win rather than be racing for maybe at best top 10. And I guess the next question is, who blinks first and elects to leave the single car line here?
Very important question. I think the smart strategy is trying to pit a lap early.
Yeah.
And you want to have your team come together. So like what Presidential had before with Henderson and Proudfoot, you kind of want to do that again. So, but you don't want to say anything either. You kind of want to let it be last second. So you've got to coordinate that quietly and but also safely as well, because you know that if you're doing this a lap early, no one's gonna be ready for it. I don't think it pit stops. I don't think it was going to come in early, though. I think everyone's trying to stretch it out and hope for a caution. And unfortunately, I just don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, laps ticking down. I mean, honestly, an Analyst would be good here, but I think we've ran here in A Square this season at the plate race. So the Atlantas, Daytonas, and that one Talladega race. I think we've had a caution. We've had, obviously, Greenwood checker to Daytona. Atlanta had a caution late. I think for a second, Atlanta may have not, but the other ones had at least a caution somewhere within the final stage. So it's coming. It's going to happen. Question is when.
Car about to go a lap down is Steven Oberstadt.
Yeah, nursing some damage there. Right now, not good for him in his playoff hopes. So he did get some good stage points at the very least for his troubles, but right now looks like it's going to be 20th place for him at the moment. Obviously, things can change if we get a caution, cars DNF, what have you. Right now, it's looking at least P20 for him at the moment. He's got any speed left, and he could try to help some of the B-Tron cars in that pack, but I
think he's wounded. I think that's why he's falling off the pack here.
That's what I was going to say. Like, I don't think that car has any help in it at the moment. Top 3 is getting a bit of a cushion to Breo. Like, it's starting to form a little bit here. You can just see it's still within draft range, so it's not pressing, but that gap is starting to grow and grow big here. Are we seeing possibly the same thing we saw last time?
Possible.
It's now up to 1.1. Oh, Wright's coming in. 41 as well. Henderson, though, going to come in as well. Make sure you don't speed. Don't lock it up. A lot of cars pulling in, some staying out. Ooh, Michael Joy gets it low down, I think just in time. So we saw LaJoy, Gaiman, Reynolds, Breo, Wanzing, Henderson, Wright, Holmbrink, Mungold, Patrick Oberstadt, all in that time by, leaving George, Kerr, Feemster, Marshall, Featherplace, Ray, Withers, Proudfoot, all staying out. And this looks like the second group's coming in. Feemster, Kerr have confirmed they're coming in. So they'll be beelining in. I assume majority of the rest will come in. Featherplace as well has confirmed it. Now we're going to follow this pack here as they get up to speed here, racing on the line.
Yeah, see, they're racing on the apron trying to lead pit lane.
Yeah. Henderson will lead the train here. Saw 5 more cars elect to come in here. George, Feemster, Kerr, Marshall. Should also be an opening. Proudfoot and Smee are coming in this time by as well. They're a little bit further back off the pack. They'll be in at this time. Oh, a little bit of contact on pit lane here. George, I think, missed his box. So second pack did not get in as smooth here, and that could cost him. Saw Kerr miss his box along with Alfred George. And keep an eye on the left of your screen. You're going to see these two cars, 2 line power machines, and they're going to get zoomed. Well, there's first Feemster. Now there's the line power machines. And zoom on by. The lead pack is 6 here. Right now, only 2 cars have stayed out. Ray and Withers. So right now, Ray, Withers, and Smeal, I should say. Smeal's also out as well at the moment, but presumably if he stays out, will get caught. Now the question is, you can see the pack there all loomed up. But really, there's 2 questions left. How long can Ray and Withers stay out? And if they obviously if they can't, which I assume they won't be able to make it, and then raises the second question is here, who in this pack of 6 is going to bring home this checkered flag, as the next pack of Featherplace, Marshall, Oberstadt, Wanzing are out 4 back of the pack we're currently watching. It's not going to be an easy task to get it caught up, especially when they have less numbers than the pack we're currently watching. There's Alfred George, obviously had a blunder of a pit stop. And away he will drive. Now 1 down. Ray in, so the leader has pitted along with Stefan Oberstadt. Tommy Withers still staying out. Be all alone with 7 to go. Wanzing trying to direct traffic in the second groove here. Maybe trying to push the troops closer. But that gap is growing more than it's shrinking. So with 7 to go, Withers who leads, he's 20 ahead of this pack, but he will have to pit. Even this is the battle for the lead between Henderson, Breo, Gaiman, Wright, Reynolds, LaJoy. 3 of these 6 are Presidential Racing cars. Not Presidential Racing. 3 of these cars are B-Tron Racing cars, I should say. You got 1 Presidential Racing part-time car, 1 Prophecy Motorsports, 1 Black Acid Racing. So the odds are not in favor of the cars that are not in communication with each other in comparison to the 3 that are. And B-Tron's been quite strong in the plate race. You got a couple different narratives as well. Henderson, last part-time race he will run this season, looking to go out with a W. Breo had a sabbatical, got eliminated from the playoffs. Now back, looking to get this win here. Josh Gaiman won last week in the first round of the playoffs. He's locked in, doesn't need the win, but getting a second would be great for the momentum. David Wright was looking good at Texas, but then got in an accident. Currently, right now, at the cut line, a win would give him no worries heading into the Roval, where he's not the strongest. And then you got Reynolds, who has not won in over 2 months. He was looking good to break Breo's win record in the season, but had a big cooling off, looking to get it. And then Mike LaJoy, a non-playoff driver. It's been a good midfield car here, looking to try to, been quite strong all night, trying to get that win as well. That's the narrative you're seeing for this top 6. And with 5 to go, one of them presumably have a checkered flag in their hand. Unless we see a dreaded caution that this top 6 does not want to see, but the pack of Feather Place, Marshall, Oberstadt, Wanzing would love to see along with the rest of the field behind that.
They're still staying out.
Yeah. Gap's now down to 10 seconds, though, so even if he makes it to the end, he will get caught. He does have someone behind him, but yeah, that's Smeal. Smeal's not going to help. And even if Smeal was one to help, it's not going to mean much. Speed advantage is quite different. He's running 172s. That pack's running 199s. 4 to go. Woods is just looking to try to get a top 10 out of this. Unless he finds that reserve switch or he gets going as soon as they catch him. But this pack's coming. They're going to catch Homebrink here on the high side. Going to put Homebrink 2 down. Was already 2 down, but just put him behind him. And again, if you ever wonder the difference between being in a pack and not being in a pack at Daytona, Talladega, any plate race, you're seeing it right now. 20-mile-an-hour difference. They've gained a lot of seconds just in one lap. I think the 23 is coming in, if I heard his comms right. No, he is staying out. But yeah, 2 seconds now to gap. It may have worked if he had someone else with him, but all alone, he is going to get caught here coming out of 1 and 2 here. He's going to hug the bottom, I think. Yep, you'll see right there that orange Weaves machine. That is the race leader at the moment. Henderson going to go around the middle groove, followed by the rest of the train. Now your new race leader with 3 to go is Blake Henderson. They got one more lap car they're going to have to deal with John Smeal. And after that, it's going to be smooth sailing for this top 6 to fight it out among themselves. Thing doesn't help Henderson right now as we're coming to go. It's Beatron, Breo, and Gaiman. They're linked up, and then you got Reynolds right behind Wright. So the only real assist, because you know they're going to link up here, and with Reynolds, they're not going to obviously let Reynolds win, because obviously Breo's team owner. He wants to win, what have you. So not going to really manipulate the order, but they can go when they want to go. And we saw this in Daytona to start the season. They waited till about the last lap, and there was nothing Reynolds, when he was not part of Beatron at the time, could do to stop the charge. The same 3 cars, not going to be easy to block it. Especially as they are joined by John Smeal as well. Another Beatron car there in that line too. So that's giving them 4 soldiers out of 7. Oh, Gaiman's coming in. Gaiman said he had a pit, and he is going to have to pit. So Gaiman's going to bail on the line. He's coming in. And we're coming to the white flag lap. Henderson, Breo, Wright, Reynolds, LaJoy, your top 5. And they're getting racy. Reynolds going to go to the high line here. He's going to get help from Smeal. Breo thinking about it. Henderson going to try to cover it off. He's going to go high and low. Can't cover it off both lanes. Breo going to be on the inside.
Reynolds helps Henderson and gets to the inside.
Oh, that could be the move.
What does
Henderson's going to have
do?
no support. Smeal's not going to help him. Henderson's going to sink. Breo's in second. Wright's in third. Can Wright muster up a charge? He cannot. Looks like Reynolds and Breo, they're going to fight hard for the win. They're still side by side. It's going to open the door for Wright, possibly. Wright going to get covered off, go below the line. It's going to be Reynolds snapping the winless streak, getting the win, and advancing himself to the next round of the playoffs. Breo going to come home second. Wright third. LaJoy fourth. Henderson going to fall to 5th in 1 lap. And that's going to be your top 5. So similar to Shades of Daytona, Beatron played the elements right. They couldn't get a 1-2-3, but they get a 1-2 at the very least. And Reynolds will move himself in the next round of playoffs, meaning he does not need to win the Roval to advance the next round, the round of 8. Other worth noting as well, Seth Wanzing got 6th, Feather Place 7th, Marshall 8th, Patrick Oberstadt 9th, and Kevin Feemster round out the top 10 here. Reynolds will slow it down in front of the line. We'll see if he elects to do a burnout. Obviously joined by his teammates in tow. Rayo and Smeal went on by. Rayo is right there as well. Just watching on as Reynolds burns it down here right in front of the virtual Alabama faithful. By the way, if you are still here, do not go anywhere as Reynolds burns out. We will have the top 3 here for interviews if we can. They'll be joining us to tell us their thoughts on the race, what they've seen and heard throughout this exciting 2 hours of, well, not 2 hours, but qualifying, including qualifying, 2 hours of Talladega. So do not go anywhere.
Interesting race here tonight.
You can say that again, Carmen.
Double checking the points as they were running. I believe we've got them updated and ready to go here. So we'll get to those in just a moment, but we will talk to our podium finishers tonight. Phenomenal drive for Beachron Racing, 1-2. With David Wright getting another podium, helping his odds to get into the round of 8. We'll start with David Wright, third place finisher tonight, and hear his thoughts on tonight's race. David, this is Carmen from the APM booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, Carmen. Gotcha.
What a drive. A win last night helps out your confidence boost quite significantly. A race win tonight. Walk us through it. Obviously, it was a big effort just trying to take on the beach run cars, but another podium here and almost a walk-in to the round of 8 next week at Charlotte.
Yeah, I knew I was kind of out to dry there on that last little bit and really didn't know what to do other than try to stay in line. And, you know, coming to the line there, I thought I had a run going, but Tommy come down and threw the block, and I hit him pretty hard, but still come home with the third. And, you know, it's like I told you last night, you don't know what's going to happen on these things. Anybody can win them. And I was just trying for a good finish, and that I got. So I got no complaints. I didn't win, but, you know, you ain't going to win them all anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, after tonight, you sit top 6 pretty comfortably. Going into Charlotte, the Roval, obviously road courses in these cars can be very difficult. How are you feeling going into the Charlotte Roval next week?
Look, I have one objective when it comes to road courses, and that's trying to stay on the track. I am no road course driver by no means. I won't be fighting for a top 5 unless everybody were to wreck out or something like that. So my goal next week will literally be to keep it on track. If I can score some stage points, I'll go for it. But just to try to be there at the end, because I am no road racer by any means.
Well, tonight you did a phenomenal job. Obviously, 3 race wins this season already in this series. Another podium to add on to that. Again, as I mentioned, there a lofty little cushion there to make it into the round of 8 next week at Charlotte. Definitely helped out tonight here, going from being outside the top 8 to being firmly in the top 8 in 6th place with 1 race to go in the round. Obviously, a fantastic result here for that 42 crew. Before we let you go and obviously let you enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening here, if there's anyone to shout out and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Congrats on the effort. Congrats on the podium. And overall, I think a very successful weekend.
Hey, I appreciate it, Carmen. It really was. And, you know, like I always do, have to thank you guys that put on the broadcast, everybody at ARCS that puts on the league. This is actually a really good league with a lot of racing options and a lot of fast drivers in it. So it's been a treat and an honor to get to run this season, to get drafted. Got to thank Profit and Prophecy Motorsports for giving me the opportunity, and especially in this Cup car. So I just appreciate everything that everybody does behind the scenes that people watching may not know about to make the broadcast, make these leagues run so that we get to come down here, get to race and have a good time. We don't always get along sometimes on different things, but that's just part of it. But there's a lot that goes on, and a lot of people that do stuff that aren't doing the fun stuff, which is like the racing part. So it's greatly appreciated.
Well, it's a lot of fun watching, especially races like tonight here at Talladega. A fantastic result. David Wright, stage points in, I believe, both stages. Let me double check here.
I don't think I got stage 1. They were getting kind of dicey
right.
up there, so I backed out.
Yeah, stage 2 points. They got 5 points in stage 2, and that helped out a lot here, as well as that third place result. 6th place in the points heading into the Charlotte Roval next week. David Wright, enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and we will see you again next weekend.
Hey, Carmen, I greatly appreciate it again. Thank you.
That was David Wright, third place finisher here tonight. We'll move on to the defending series champion, out of the playoffs now, but still coming back to a solid result at 1-2 for his team. Jeremy Breo, we'll hear from him and how his race went. Jeremy, this is Carmen from the ABM booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Alrighty, first time we've seen you back on here on Sundays in a little bit. We've seen you on Monday evenings. Welcome back to the A's Cup Series. Obviously, your team's still alive and kicking here on the plate track. So 1-2 for the team on your return to the series. Walk us through that race. It seemed like you were right back at home.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like I never left, really, because I've been running Monday nights, and it's basically the same car. I mean, setups are a little bit different, but other than that, yeah, it's kind of the same deal. I kind of felt at home already, so getting back into this wasn't so bad. But yeah, I just haven't been able to make these Sundays for a while, so nice to get back and do one of these. And plate races are always fun, but I mean, it was kind of just a typical plate race up until the last run there, where we all had to save fuel, and then we were like, nobody could save fuel, so we just said screw it, and then we pitted, and then I guess that was the right call, because Withers couldn't make it on fuel when everybody was thinking he would, but he was so slow that it wouldn't have mattered at that point unless a caution came out. Then he probably could have made it, but other than that, got caught up in that big wreck where we went 4 wide, being dumb for like 30 seconds. I couldn't use my brain. I don't know why I did 4 wide, but oh well. We came back and didn't have to use fast repair, so second's not too bad. But congratulations to Tommy. He's always been a good teammate, so good for him.
Obviously, you talk about like how the season's kind of fallen away from you, not being able to make these races and pivoting towards Monday night, being able to come back here. Obviously, this is a place that obviously means so much to you. How much fun was it just being able to come back with this group of drivers? Obviously, some of them race on Monday nights too, but just coming back and racing with this group of drivers and racing with the team that you own. How important, how fun and refreshing was that tonight?
Oh, I mean, we were having so much fun in the team chat, because we were just goofing off and joking with each other, and I'm guessing every other chat was serious, talking about fuel numbers and everything. We're talking about just dumb stuff. So it was a lot of fun, and obviously our team chemistry hasn't changed very much, even though we did have a couple team changes since round 2 or whatever. When we change over teams,
Watkins still been last time,
yeah. So Reynolds came on, and who else? I know my team. Yeah, we got rid of Mulkey because he couldn't make it anymore. But yeah, when we took Reynolds in, and Reynolds was always a part of our team anyway, so it didn't really matter. So good to have him. And then it's like I never left. So everybody's been pretty chill and pretty fun, and we had a great time, and obviously ended up with us 1-2.
Absolutely, continuing to dominate the plate tracks here in this series. The last plate race of the season belongs to Beatron Racing. Obviously, your schedule still being up in the air. Walk us through that. How many more races are we expected to see you here this season? Obviously, not being able to defend your championship anymore. But are we expecting to see you a couple more times this season before the season ends, or is Mondays going to be mostly where we get to see you now?
So Mondays, all but one race. I believe I'm going to miss Road America on Mondays, but I should be back for the remaining races of the season for A Squared. So as far as I know, I should be back for the end of the season.
That's fantastic to hear. Again, the defending series champion finishing second tonight on his return in Talladega, Jeremy Breo. Before we let you go, does anyone want to shout out and say thank you to, obviously, talked about how good that your team has been. Just being able to jump back and automatically get a 1-2 here. But if there's anyone else you want to shout out and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Congratulations on that second place, and welcome home.
Thank you, Carmen. So got to thank Smeal Racing Designs and Midwest Barbecue, 213 Simware, and just everybody who supports me. Thank you a lot. It means a lot. So shout out to them, and shout out to you for putting on the broadcast every week. It's awesome that you're still doing this and you're doing Monday nights and everything. So that's cool. And thanks.
Absolutely. Jeremy Brea, second place finish on his return to the H Square Cup Series tonight. A phenomenal 1-2 effort for B-Tron Racing after they dominated just about every aspect of this race tonight. Jeremy, enjoy it, and we'll be seeing you again tomorrow night.
Yes, you will. See you then.
That was Jeremy Brea, second place finisher. We got one more person to interview, and it is none other than Tommy Reynolds, the regular season runner-up. Missed out the Brandon Feder place, but has been electric in the playoffs, finally breaking that winless streak that came. Last race win came at the Chicago Road Course, and now here's back in victory lane at Talladega. Tommy, this is Carmen from the ABN booth. Do you got a copy?
I gotcha.
Welcome back to victory lane. Seemed like that winless streak was beginning to grow a little bit for you there. It hadn't won since Chicago, but you'd been consistent, dangerously consistent, and now a race win. The return of Jeremy Brea, teamwork made the dream work tonight. Walk us through the race tonight for you.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was going to have the pole there, but seems like I never finished that out. Just started good, started fourth, and then worked our way through stage one pretty decently. Stage two was kind of iffy. I got pinched into the wall, I think, by Brandon Proudfoot, and then that caused that whole accident there. And then stage three, we kind of figured that the whole team, we knew that it was going to be split somewhere in the middle. And then we kind of had that weird caution where everybody was single file. And and then after that, it was kind of smooth sailing. I got up to the front, and that's where I wanted to be, at least in the final 10 laps. So after that, the final lap, I was a little scared. I came out of four, and I knew Jeremy was going for the win. And I told him, just push me, and he ended up ducking out. And I saw David Wright to the inside, and I figured I'd rather have Jeremy win than David Wright after Richmond. So, so that was an interesting finish, but it's good to have a B-Tron one too.
Honestly, you didn't seem to be in danger. Obviously, we know you're good on road courses as well, being able to, hold a candle. Obviously, Gaiman, Michelle, you're always up there as well. Obviously, your last one was on a street circuit in Chicago. So it didn't seem like you were going to be stressing too much about Charlotte next week anyway. Being able to punch your ticket into the round of 8 the next round here and making Charlotte easier, does that do anything as far as taking the stress off your shoulders going into the Roval next week? Because the Roval can be unpredictable. It's almost like a street circuit with how narrow that track can be, especially the infield section. How easy does that make next week for you, knowing that this final round of the round of 12 is already pretty much done for you?
I mean, for me, knowing that I can run up front at a road course not only helps, but being able to make maybe riskier moves than what other people are willing to make also is a huge advantage, because people aren't willing to maybe make those couple dive bombs or those quick inside passes. So, obviously it helps, and now you can kind of just play around with the house money. You don't have to really care. Well, you still have to care, but you can play around with house money, and you can race your way to the front.
Absolutely. You join your teammate Josh Gaiman in being punched in to the round of 8. Saw Sunday Money Racing dominate the first round of the playoffs. B-Tron's dominated the second round so far, with the Charlotte Roval coming up, and we get to see you a little bit more on Monday nights as well. Not so much now with your schedule kind of intermittently breaking up there, but we get to see you pretty regularly now as things run. Charlotte Roval next week. We're going to let you enjoy the rest of your night, but before I let you go and let you celebrate your race win, I believe this is your 6th this season. I'll have to double check on that one. Getting close to that record. If there's anyone to shout out and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Congrats again on another phenomenal race win, and now the points leader at the end of the round of 12.
Yeah, thank you. I forgot to do this last time, but thank you to Smeal Racing Designs. I forgot to shout him out last time. He made my paint scheme for the playoffs, so Definitely go check him out. And besides that, I got nothing else. Thank you for the awesome broadcast.
Absolutely. Tommy Reynolds, race winner here tonight in Talladega. I believe his 6th win of the season, his 7th in his career in the A-Square Cup Series. Phenomenal race for that Beatron racing machine. Tommy, enjoy it, and we'll be seeing you next week at the Roval.
Yep, thank you.
Phenomenal result there for Tommy Reynolds, race winner here tonight at Talladega. The full results as they run here this evening. Tommy Reynolds leads the 1-2 for Beatron Racing ahead of Jeremy Breo, David Wright rounding out the podium. We heard from all 3 of them here tonight. Mike LaJoy, Blake Henderson, top 5, Wanzing 6th, Fetter Place 7th, Edward Marshall, Patrick Oberstadt, and Kevin Feemster rounding out the top 10. Donald Ray, James Kerr, Austin Mongolden, and Josh Gaiman round out the top 14 of this 21-car field. Only 1 retirement in this race. Tommy Withers, 15th. Brandon Proudfoot in 16th, 17th John Smeal, 18th Stephen Oberstadt. And looking a little bit further down the order here, Stephen Oberstadt 18th, Albert George 19th, Jonathan Homebrink in 20th, 2 laps down, and Emma Kruger the only retirement in this race down in the 21st position. The points as they run. This is the championship order. Top 12 in red. 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th on the outside, trying to keep their championship ambitions alive. Emma Kruger, a huge gap now between her and Kevin Feemster in 8th place. Feemster in 8th, having an almost 20-point advantage. Talk about David Wright, an exactly 20-point advantage going into that round. Michelle dropped from the lead of the championship to 7th place. That's how big today's race was. Tommy Reynolds jumped to the top of the board. Gaiman stayed 2nd. Wanting stayed 3rd. Fetter Place moves up to 4th. Stephen Oberstadt moved up a couple spots. We'll need to rely on all of that as he is level with David Wright with 3,067 points, but they are 5th and 6th there. Michelle in 7th will try to punch his ticket in to the playoffs next week. Kevin Feemster on that cut line, but it's a 15-point gap between him and Emma Kruger. Tom Sears sits even further back. Brendan Roberts in 11th. Ryan Pinnell down in the 12th position. Needing a bit of a miracle to make it into the round of 8 with the road course coming up.
Basically, if you're Pinnell, Roberts, and Sears, again, depending on how many cars show up, who shows up, what have you, you're kind of a must-win. Emma Kruger, kind of the same boat as well. She's 15 back, well, not 15, but around 15 back on Kevin Feemster. She's good at road courses, but Feemster's also no slouch there as well. Kruger would really need kind of a win spot, and if, let's say, someone outside that top 4 wins, then you got the chase for the bubble line right now, with it's very close. So right now, if you're in that top 8, you're kind of hoping nothing changes.
Yeah, we're going to see a little bit of change, though, no matter what, with how things are going to be stacking up at the Roval. I think a lot of those drivers, are hoping that there's no spoilers coming in to take some positions away here. But we're going to find out, again, a week's time is the last race in the round of 12 here for the A-Square Cup Series playoffs. We'll be live again tomorrow night. We'll be live at 7:30 p.m. tomorrow night on ABN Esports 2. Countdown to green for the HGL Cup Series race at Fontana. And then we'll be live at 8 p.m. on ABN Esports 1 right here for the HGL Cup Series race at Fontana. That's going to be a lot of fun. That'll be me and Christina Ryan in the booth for that one. We hope to see you all then. On behalf of everyone here for ARCS, for the Darkside Mustangs A-Square Cup Series, and everyone here at ABN Studios, my co-commentator Kevin Young, I'm Carmen Sienna. Until next time, I want everyone to stay safe, stay healthy, try to have some fun out here this week. But until next time, we will see you at Fontana. See you tomorrow night, everyone. Stay safe, stay healthy, and take care.